He thought about his parents, thought about his 3 years of vagrancy, thought about his son who was already 2 years old. According to the letter, a baby eagerly awaiting his return. He cried harder. You better try to appease him. Don't worry, don't cry. Leave it to me. I'm a doctor. I assure you that you will be able to walk out of these doors, in good health. Moreover, the poison of the human face peach is not particularly strong, in some sense. It can be considered a chronic poison, as long as you find the proper medicine. Neutralization bucket and it'll be very easy to get rid of it, using abilities to create livestock. Found a ton of potions from the front counter, then quickly mixed several potions before the sheep-headed monster. Quickly mixed several potions. Adjust to appropriate mixing ratio. After the initial configuration was complete, when Lin squinted his eyes and drew some of the medicine into the syringe. Let me give you an injection first. After several injections, while it might not cure all your ills, it sure can make you bounce back, Lin said, as he slowly came over. The ram-headed monster trembled and cried out, wait a moment. How are you going to use such a big needle? Blood vessels could just explode. Lin gave a wicked smile. He said, don't worry, we won't hit any blood vessels. It'll be through the chrysanthemum. The sheep-headed monster heard that. Immediately, the hairs on his body stood up straight. Hearing what the sheep-headed monster said, your horror level increased by 20. At that moment, the entire ghost cave resounded with the sheep-headed monster's screams. Inside the pharmacy, whoever says that there's no money, Lin will definitely punch him in the kidney. Just now, the sheep-head monster's leather bag stopped the bleeding. Lin bandages his wound and says, how is it? Is the effect very good? The potion I prepared for you was developed by my teacher. It is a special effective medicine specifically for the poison of the face-eating vine. You can come to our blood drama pharmacy. Absolutely the right place to find. I'll tell you, other places, it's not necessarily as effective as ours. The Minotaur carefully felt the changes in his body. Seriously, it's quite strange, although it kind of hurts in my butt. But the unusual weakness and lethargy in my body have indeed been greatly suppressed. Even the strange fragrance emanating from the body slowly faded. The goat-headed monster was stunned. Could it be that I've been mistaken all along? That this really isn't a robber's den, but actually a legitimate pharmacy? He asked uncertainly. Lin, you don't mean to heal me first, do you? Then chop me up. Lin Yuan firmly presses down on his left hand that's trying to hit him. He then says, how could that be? We're about to make a sacrifice. I have always adhered to the principle that the customer is God. If you got some money, let alone slice me, you can slice me. You'll see the experience plus one. Ramhead spears us out of great solace. You are well on your way to being a good one. Reassuring doctor. The Ramgoon heaved a sigh of relief. With Lin saying that, the two felt more assured. He went on to ask, what if I had no money? Instantly, the entire Elixir's hall was filled with a murderous horror. Even the left hand that watched him between Lin paused. Naruto raised his saber. Lin says he has no money. The sheep-head monster immediately exploded, trembling and saying yes. Definitely have a lot. He used the fastest hand speed in his life. Generation by generation, the skeletons were pulled out of the pocket. They were almost blurred because of the speed. Looking at those jingling coins, Lin had the kind smile back on his face. He said, customer, you scared me to death. Don't make random jokes in the future. I thought you were going to skip out on paying for your medicine. I even thought about which body part of yours I would cut off. My heart was racing. I was about to get scared by you. Sheephead monster laughs awkwardly. Haha, really? The sheephead monster's blood pressure rises. He quickly changes the subject. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, he said, don't mention it. Your potion seems to be working very well. It's only been a few minutes, and I already feel so much better than before. Lin Yun was counting the money. A smile of relief appeared on his face. Of course, my teacher before specialized in cultivating this poison on a large scale. Naturally, he has someone how to treat this poison. The entire Dark Realm can be said to have a special effects medicine for the face cramp. The goat-tail monster said while wiping the sweat off. Oh really? Then if a creature from somewhere else were to get poisoned by this toxin, that was truly a very troublesome thing. Lin said with a smile, don't you worry about that. Aside from our place, there won't be such poison anywhere else. The sheep-headed monster's body stiffened. He does not know why. He always has a feeling that there is a special connection with those numbers. At this time, Lin said that the money had been counted already. A total of 2,100 coins. You just paid 1,700 coins for the art of ligation. Consider it free. I counted it. You still owe 400 coins. The satyr groped for a package, and then placed a small pouch of coins on the table. Lin checked the coins, and smiled, saying that 100 coins were still needed. The satyr immediately searched his body all over. Suddenly the mentor's eyes went blank. He said meekly that it's broke. Lin put it directly in front of him, solemnly saying that it doesn't matter if he doesn't have enough money. Take a look. In this place of ours, not only can money be used to pay the bills, organ transplants are also accepted. The note lists various quotes and artists. Kidney, 1,000 coins each. Eyeball, 200 coins each. Arm, 250 for one. Little brother, 50 coins per centimeter. Seeing the monsters gave him the creeps. Lin smiled gently and said, I suggest you leave your eyeballs with me. When you've earned enough money, you can always come back here and redeem them. We'll keep them safe for you, he said, slowly moving the knife towards the monster. He then held out his finger and toes. Wait, I have other things here that can be used to pay off the debt. Take a look. He swiftly takes out an item from the package and places it on the table. He says he found it outside a few days ago. Looks like part of something. He thought it might be worth something, so he kept it. Lin was delighted. Their gaze instantly fell on the object the rampage had taken out. Mithril skull fragment. Rare material grade. High-strength skull being made of special mithril. This mithril, forged by a special process. This is very valuable. Often used by the Demon Association to forge powerful weapons of war. Lin calls people to equip it. Never would I have thought that this material belongs to the Demon Association. He immediately asked, seriously, where did you pick this up? The sailor said, on a hill in the west. About 100 kilometers away. When I went there, it seemed that there had just been a battle there. I wouldn't dare delay my departure, so I just grabbed a few parts and flew off. As he spoke, he pulled out some similarly burned fragments from the package, and, without exception, the introduction is all about the Magician Association. Then he asked weakly, I wonder if these can be used to offset the debt. Linenson offered and said of course it's no problem. That's it. The beastman handed over all the scavenged loot to Linen, and then ran away without looking back. Ding. Congratulations on completing the task. You have been rewarded with 200 gold coins and 100 basic EXP. Special reward, irradiated finger bone +2. Corrupted finger. Single-use consumable. The result of an unknown creature. Growing extra limbs from radiation exposure. Using it makes your body emit large amounts of radiation for a short period of time. Haunted by the Goatman's parting words, Ryan sinks into thought. He has a premonition that the demon's crest will soon make its move. With a grim expression, he turns to Lefty and says, a truce. You want to eat me, but that won't happen right now. I suggest we postpone our conflict. I have more urgent matters at hand. Her left hand said dismissively, only a fool would listen to you. Then it opened its bloody mouth wide, and swallowed Lin. But after a while, he realized that Lin wasn't moving at all. This made him feel uneasy. Then spat out Lin. Said, why didn't you dodge? Lin calmly said, I knew you wouldn't dare. It's because I drank a little too much pesticide. My mind was a little unclear just now. Calm down now. I kind of understand, too. You wouldn't dare to eat me at all. Sneering with his left hand. Although I don't know why Lin suddenly started to talk nonsense. He won't be polite then. I'll eat you right now, old lady. Right at that moment, Lin said calmly, because we're probably going to prosper together. A relationship where if one gets hurt, the other will also suffer. I'll have a reaction if I drink pesticide. Then if you ate my brain, you probably couldn't survive either, right? Her left hand paused, then asked with her eyes closed, am I right? A brief silence. The left hand returned to its original size. It bared a tiger tooth. Lin smiled and said, looks like I'm right. My left hand clicks and finds its teeth. I just don't know for sure what it would do to me. Doesn't mean I wouldn't eat you though. Come on now. Sure. His previous pesticide incident caused him great mental trauma. Your body's response to the mission is currently at 50%. You allowed yourself to be killed by the mutants after ingesting a large amount of pesticide. Whether I can survive is uncertain. But mutants still have strong resistance to you. You trigger the second phase of the mission. Mission implementation is erased. Mission objectives are with the mutants, living in the midst of the symbiosis. Don't let the symbiote find out. Killing you actually won't hurt you. Lin was stunned to see the system prompt. Lin was confused. Did I get it wrong? Could I still survive after killing myself with my left hand? What the hell? Did you really bite me just now? Then didn't I die in vain? That thought scared him. But she noticed. The left hand next to her was still watching her closely. To avoid revealing her secret, Lin quickly regained her composure. Since you're not sure, he said coolly, then I advise you not to try. Otherwise it could result in two deaths. You are only your family. And I don't think you want that. End up killing himself. If that got out, people would die laughing. Gritting her teeth at Lin's words, he hesitated as well. In case it was true, wouldn't it mean he was killing himself? Lin may have seemed collected on the surface, but in reality, he was panicking. He knew if he showed any sign of weakness, this mutated left hand would bite his head off without hesitation. He fiddled with the mithril fragment on the counter, and said quietly, that monster that came last night, it's a creation of the Demon Association. And in my teacher's log, I saw him mention this organization. According to the log, my teacher was also once a member of this organization, although I do not know what happened. But based on yesterday's experience, my teacher's roommate and this association have deep conflicts. The flesh puppet yesterday. Actually, this was actually for your family's extermination. He just didn't find the master. But he found me instead. The left hand hummed coldly. Lin stood up, paces back and forth saying, and looking at the fragments, the power of the Demon Association has infiltrated the vicinity. After killing the puppet last night, the Demon Association must have used special means. She knew what had happened here. Her left hand immediately corrected her. I killed him, not you. Lin ignored her, and continued talking. And if I were him, it's a certainty I'll continue to send people here to search, either to investigate, or to clean up. If they find that I'm just an ordinary human, well, they would have squashed me like that without saying a word. Either tonight, or tomorrow, we will definitely usher in a second wave of crisis. Lin made a profound analysis in summary. Left said angrily, what's it to do with me? Lin glanced at him, then said, don't think you can stand aloof. We are one now. If I'm kicked out, you'll be dead too. With a flick of his left hand, he said nothing. Smiling, Lin gently patted his dog's head. Try to calm down first. Although I don't know how you mutated like this, but you are still a part of me, and you are my left hand that I use the most. Following that logic, you should be very friendly with me. Comfort experience +2. Left hand said angrily. Let's make it clear first. Whoever comes I must eat. None of your business. And don't drink pesticides. Our partnership is limited to the next 2 days. Lin nodded with a sly smile. Here. To confront the crisis that is the Mage Association, Lin starts to plan early. In that fleshy puppet shell, he searched carefully, but still didn't find the revolver he lost yesterday, and the peeling knife. Moreover, take a look at this introduction on his left hand. His own greatest trump card, his maskless heart. I'm afraid it has already become a part of this guy. That means, his own revolver and dagger were more than likely swallowed by him. Lin cast a glance at his snoozing left hand. A bold idea popped up. Let's retrieve it. Then he quietly reached out with his right hand, and gently pried open a gap in the mouth of his left hand. Then used flesh and blood disaster transformation to create a long, thin tentacle. Under Lin's careful control, his tentacle slowly inserts into the mouth on his left hand. The moment it enters his throat, Lin discovers that his left hand is not as simple as it appears. Because his tentacle has entered the machine, and yet it has not reached the end, it seems this hand has maybe brought its own set of internal construction. Lin kept fumbling, feeling her way along with her eyes closed. Finally, with no more obstacles in her path, she reached the deepest part, Lin's tentacle, immediately came into contact with many undigested pieces of meat, and undead spirits. Lin contemplated. The monster either swallowed body, its flesh, his ear. Afterwards, he stuffed the flame and out of his coat. You got X1 broken core. You got X1 putrid flesh. You got the hunter's revolver +1. You got the scriptwriter's boning knife +1. Ling En's eyes lit up. The weapon is found. It seemed that his guess was correct. Those two pieces of equipment were all eaten into its stomach by this mutant. Lin retracted its tentacles, looking happily at the sticky revolver and razor. Now it was complete again. After he checked and made sure it hadn't broken, his gaze fell upon his soundly sleeping left hand. He thought to himself, should I use this chance to put my left hand inside again to find something? If the worst comes to the worst, there might still be something left by the monster. After all, opportunity only knocks once, and never comes again. Lin said, do it if you're going to. Then he carefully once more probed his left hand's mouth with his tentacles. You obtained a focused eye +1. You obtained a broken dragon hand +1. You obtained a spiritual hair +1. With continuous digging, Lin's eyes are getting brighter. It really is a huge inventory. So many good things. If he digests all of them, that is a huge loss. Lin was excited as he said this. He took item after item out. He also began to speed up the rate at which his tentacles were moving in and out. At this moment, his left hand woke up in a daze and discovered, it seems like something big and thick is constantly going in and out of his mouth. And each time it hits the back of his mouth, it really makes one feel disgusted. He suddenly wakes up. Ling En is controlling a tentacle, shoving it in his mouth. Zhuo Shu is instantly furious. He can't believe that this host is such a pervert, taking advantage of him while he was asleep. He's brutally molested his own mouth. Screech can no longer bear it. He immediately gets up and slaps Lin several times, then bites off the tentacles that just committed the crime. The pain instantly makes Lin scream. Host's health points reduced. Lin is in a hurry. You really bite. Didn't you say you were cooperating? What do you mean? She swallowed the tentacle with her left hand, and said angrily, what do I mean? From the mouth of this Auntie. Why do you put such a strange thing? Do you want to fight? Yea lie. And then he instantly saw beside him what was placed. That mushy pile of limbs and flesh. In an instant, his left hand fiercely. Lin coughed and said, listen to my explanation. I just wanted to find the few things you swallowed into your stomach yesterday. I don't mean to fight you. Really? Just now. His left hand starts to spasm. Lin, what a glutton, snatching food right off others' mouths. No wonder he kept feeling his stomach empty just now. As it turned out, Lin stole his food. He wields his knife at Lin and starts slashing at him. Lin is forced to raise his sword to block the attack. Suddenly, a system prompt rings in Lin's ears. Triggered the quest Restless Night. Quest objective, survive the search of the 3 hunters. Reward, 1,000 skull coins. Base experience +1,000. Special item +1. Additional special mission objective, kill all hunters. Reward, legendary special item +1. Legendary skill diagram +1. Mission introduction, Roman Inspector, hidden dangers in the night. After the fierce battle last night, a new crisis is brewing. The mysterious hunter by White House, tracking us down, hiding in limits, causing destruction of the system. Lin is well aware of the enemy's peril tonight. He covered his left hand with his mouth, asking him sternly to keep quiet. Just as Lin expected, the Demon Association had sent someone. The spirit beacon outside the door flickered, then quietly dimmed. This meant that nightfall had arrived. On the other side of Yuhan Alley, there's a headless monster, gathering the blood of the slain blood puppet. He'll use the blood to learn more about his victim's identity, recreate the scene where the flesh puppet died last night. After some scene analysis, he already knew. The flesh puppet died of being devoured and collapsed internally. He synchronized the information to his behind immediately. The monster who looks exactly like him. The plane flew toward the pharmacy. Meanwhile, Lin in right hand holding revolver. Expression is dignified, watching the scenes outside from behind the window. Having learned from last time's experience, this time he stopped pressing himself against the wall, to prevent the other party from breaking the wall to launch a sneak attack. Lin solemnly said to his left hand, Zuo, hang flexibly above the door frame. The moment someone comes, attack. The left hand said angrily, don't call me Zuo. Do you think we're very close? But the body still honestly crawled towards the door frame. He concealed his deep affections. He told Lin that he was ready. Lin also opened the safety on her revolver. She stared intently at the movement outside the door. 4 tentacles grew out of it. Be ready to strike at any moment. Judging from the system prompt, Lin is sure that the one coming this time definitely isn't a flesh puppet. In that case, he is convinced he can take him out. Time slowly passes by. I don't know how much time has passed. The door is suddenly open. Lin's pupils shrink. Shouts. It's now. The left hand opens its giant bloody mouth. Viciously bites towards. Lin said to the left hand, not back. Just like that. Don't let go. I'll come and make 2 more cuts. But just after approaching the opening of the left hand, 2 terrified voices came through. Lin was stunned. He felt like he was familiar with this voice, as the left hand was about to swallow the 2 of them. Lin caught a glimpse of the 4th face. He recognized them at once. It's Mother Bloody Shirt, and the little one. Lin hurries to call out, stop. It's one of our own. After her left hand realized she'd bitten the wrong person, Lin swiftly brings Mother, and Child Bloody Shirt, was released. At this moment, the woman in red's eyes were glazed over. She hadn't yet recovered from the terrifying scene that had just occurred. She felt as though what she had just experienced had been nothing more than a nightmare. The baby slurps and slurps. To help her mother lick the mud on her face, Lin pulls her left hand back. Puzzledly asks the lady, why are you all here? Miss Bloody Clothes looked at Lin Wen, and said earnestly, of course I'm worried about you. You ran out in such a hurry during the day. Now it's night, yet you didn't come to me. What if we encounter the same monster as last night again? What should we do? Hearing this, Lin was touched. Unexpectedly, in the dark world, there are people care for him. Originally, he had thought that the lady in bloody clothes had been haunting him. Now it seemed that she was truly good to him. The lady in bloody clothes stared at Lin's left hand with vigilance. That thing just ambushed him, caught him off guard. Nearly got eaten by it. Lin came back to her senses, and smiled, pointing to her left hand, introducing Lady Bloodflower. He transformed into this on that very night, and the flesh golden was eaten by his being. That's because it was her left hand. So now, he calls him Lefty. When Lin called him Lefty again, he immediately got angry. Bit Lin on the spot, pointed at his right hand and lowered his head. Your favorability with your left hand has increased by 2. The red lady was startled. By hand could be so powerful. Her mind instantly flashed back to last night's horrifying scene of the monster being gutted. All this was a lock of a hand. Lingen forcefully restrained his left hand, and spoke pleasantries to the woman in the bloodstained dress. Those people with the puppet came last night. It's very dangerous here now. But as soon as he finished speaking, a series of sounds like blades striking the ground were heard outside the door. Lin and Lady Blood are solemn. The 2 men jumped up onto the roof beam with a thud, and quickly got ready for battle. Meanwhile, outside the door, an aura of evil and chaos blew in their faces. Meanwhile, the adorable baby. He glances curiously at his left hand poised to strike. He sticks out his tongue to lick his left hand. His left hand gives it a swipe. He takes a look at the wide-eyed baby. He also tries sticking his tongue out to lick the baby's gratitude. Lindsay has a crush on your left hand. The guys immediately got high-spirited. It was like 2 like-minded people, sharing the same interest. You smiled happily. I slurped it all up in one go. Lin saw the scene, and lowered her voice, exasperatedly, and told her not to lick it. Let's fight now. At this time, several dark figures appear outside the door. They start yelling towards the store. Ling Yun knows hiding now is useless. If they get scanned by the monsters, they definitely will take action. Thinking of this, he decided to take action first. He immediately jumped down from the beam, holding a gun in both hands. He fired several shots at one of the monsters. Caught off guard, the monster was hit on the spot. The holy demon hunting bullet instantly exploded on the monster. Lin shouted at Lady Bloodbath, who no longer had to hide. Its biological puppet that came again this time, prepared to fight. When they saw the monsters who appeared, They understood that they were the players to kill the flesh puppets. Immediately they began fighting. Before Lin. Also, the interface of those three monsters appeared instantly. Hunter Titan, rank unknown race biomechanical aggregate, possess extremely fast speed and powerful healing capabilities. The top-level hunting tool created by the Human Association, known for their speed and agility. They have extremely strong killing and attacking abilities, often used by the Human Association to execute hunting missions. Super powerful hunting tools. Because they have no soul, so I'm not afraid of any spiritual attack, or any spiritual curse attack. It makes my eyes more determined. It's just as he expected. These monsters are all creations of the Demon Association. Almost instantly, the three predators have shapeshifted, and begin their hunt of Lin. Just then, one of the predators is about to jump in front of Lin. The lady in red, who transformed into a variant, appeared beside Lin, and blocked the attack for him. He said he could handle the two on this side. Then, he started to fight with the two hunters. His crazed eyes flickered with excitement and morbidity. Lin saw the scene, and immediately understood. Bloody Lady had entered that berserk battle state. Then he stopped the climbing, then turned around to deal with another hunter. He said to his left hand, "Then this hunter will be handed over to us." 0-0, Vital. His left hand suddenly grew larger. He angrily said, "I don't need you to teach me." Then, like a boa constrictor, he suddenly attacked the hunter. A loud bang rang out. The horrible power in the left hand cleared the ground where the hunter existed, creating a giant hole. However, the hunter was so unbelievably fast. Almost as soon as the left hand started attacking, he quickly dodged the hit. It's impossible to hit him. The hunter's eyes flashed red. The next moment, his entire body suddenly spins like a tornado of blades. Suddenly, at an extremely fast speed, Lin bolts toward the direction of the tree line. Lin, gritting his teeth, controls the four tentacles of his body, moving his hind legs rapidly. Simultaneously, he pulls the trigger violently. Holy bullets were fired one after another, onto the terrifying whirlwind of blades. Under the holy damage of bullets, the hunter's speed apparently reduced significantly. Your firearm proficiency increased by 2. Lin shouts to the left hand. It's now. The left hand understands and instantly opens its blood basin. A long tongue splits into 2. 2 split into 4. In an instant, they turned into hundreds of long snakes. Like sharp swords, they attacked the storm of blades. The sound of a huge metal collision is heard. Numerous sparks burst out. That seemingly soft tongue, when it came into contact with the blade, showed a conspiracy comparable to steel. Lady Blood and Lin ferociously fight the Xenomorphs. Meanwhile, at the tower, a man wearing a black robe, with intricate machinery on his face, he strode in with the guards. His eyes were green, his voice was extremely cold. He asked if the 3 hunters who went to investigate Soul Out had been contacted. Several mechanical servants in the hall turned towards the weirdo, beat their chests with one hand, solemnly say that the signal has been established. Xie Mo, Vice President, we can take over the control of the 3 hunters at any time. Zymo silently walked to the screen in the center of the hall, connected the visual screen. I want the first ghost alley. Teleprompter information. The serving boys immediately operated the buttons, and on the screen in front of him, 3 pictures quickly appeared. In the picture, at this moment, Lin, who was fighting the predator, and the bloody evil spirit. Shamo frowned slightly. In first glance, he took notice of the red evil devil who was more than that. He recognized his evil spirit's embodiment, especially within Sin City. This crazy woman who always acted alone was very famous, because he's a demon who can unfold a killing spree, according to his own preferences, and especially when he enters the state of combat. That kind of psychopathy and excitement cannot stop killing, unless he kills the other party, and has become someone many powerful demons do not wish to provoke. But Shiemo thought back carefully about Lady Blood's power. Even he would not be able to kill the blood puppet. He is second only to the Root Collection. His gaze narrowed. Aside from the of their demonic human association, he is the one who directly leads this internal purge. In these past few days, he's coerced and enticed that dozens of veterans who were once the dominant force of the Demon Association were killed, absorbed. While back then, the flesh of the giant kept by them separately has also been recovered by them in the hut these last few days, and based on the production between country organizations, the restless spirit statue should be kept in the blood, and yesterday's flesh puppet was sent out by him personally. His eyes grew darker. He then turned his head, looked at the third hunter, vision, and then he saw that strangely left-handed pistol girl. Who would be this human? However, he quickly denied it, because he could see at a glance that this human race accepts the weird left hand. Other than that, the true strength was actually very poor, but immediately his gaze fell upon the demon hunter earlier. His complexion changed. He recognized it immediately as the demon hunter earlier. Until this moment, his attention to the human youth only rose slightly, because he could clearly see that Lady Bloodclad, who had always been a loner, was actually standing with that youth, and in the hands of this seemingly weak young man. That flashy little creep is still there. Hunting Demon Clan never leaves his side. These suspicions alone are enough to raise many questions, so he decides to pay the boy a visit in person. Shiemo closed his eyes. From behind his head, with great force, he pulled out a sticky mechanical interface, and plugged it into the cabin's fleshy interface. He ordered his subordinate to connect his nerves, synchronized to Hunter 3. The entire neuron is successfully connected. When Shiemo opened his eyes again, he had already taken control of the body of the number hunter. Eyes. It instantly landed on Lin dozens of meters away, and almost at the same time, a system prompt came to Lin's ears. Warning, crisis is rising sharply. You have triggered a special emergency mission. Survive. Quest reward. Base EXP 1000. 1000 skulls, plus 1 special item. In the instant he heard the prompt, Lin clearly sensed in front of him, different from that hunter, compared to the previous gaze. The current hunter's eyes are coldly wise, no longer like a machine, but more like a person. A serious crisis swept over. Suzuka said seriously to pay attention. Be careful, and quickly retreated back. But at this moment, the hunter controlled by the devil rushed towards Lin at a furious speed. Sasha immediately stood in front of Lin, spread her giant mouth, and attacked the monster. Her sharp tongue switched. Lara's arrow then surged towards the hunter. Sword Demon immediately activated his high-temperature thermal properties, and the hunter's pupils were instantly covered with a layer of high-temperature flames. The mantis blades on his arms, it instantly gushed out a stream of extremely hot light that shot out countless sparks, and Sasa's tongue was on its way. He swung his mantis blade to the part. When Sasa felt the pain, he quickly pulled his tongue back. Looking at the half of the tongue left, he said to Lin furiously, my tongue is gone." Lin asked if the tongue had been recovered. He flicked the tongue with his left hand. The severed half of the tongue started to grow instantly, and almost simultaneously, the hunter appeared like an afterlife in front of Lin. The blade in his hand was about to cut Lin. With his left hand, he snatched the boning knife and launched a frontal knife fight. The blades clashed, sending a spray of sparks flying. Apparently, he's full of resentment after having his tongue cut off just now, and it's going off like a bomb right now. But Lin can tell at a glance that hunter on the other side is like a completely different person, a wealth of combat experience. Every attack is done with ease. On the other hand, the left hand, although the attacks are fierce, but there is clearly a lack of method, more like he just hurled it with brute strength. A wild flurry of slashes and chops, knife-style holding the gun, keeps shooting to harass the hunter. He shouts, "Sasa, get going. Show me that power you used to kill that demon. You were unstoppable yesterday." Left side of the shack, as Kanban said. That was from the inside. Now it's external. Even if I wanted to, he would have to cut me with a knife. Lin shouted, "Don't be afraid. I'm a doctor. Even if he cuts you, I can sew you back up again," said the left-hand helplessly. "But there's no chance, is there?" Lin quickly backed away, her eyes flickering constantly. "Sure enough, you'll die at any time. No chance in another world. Okay, then I'll create the opportunity for you." Lin quickly from his bosom pulls out a pitch black, cystic eyeball. Eye of the Focused Gaze. Type Cursed Item. Ability unleashes the gaze curse after being used by a flesh golem. Ability unleashes the gaze curse after being used by a flesh golem. The restriction can only be activated after it has fully merged with a living body. This is a curse eye that takes the form of a flesh puppet. When you stare into the abyss stares back at you. His eyes are filled with curses and resentment. What he sees, all things will dissolve in his vision. Everything is melting, collapsing. Facing the vice president of the Demon Society, a predator who fights in person, it feels quite difficult. If it continues like this, Sasa won't be able to hold on much longer. So, he took out the Eye of Focus, the eyeball that was dug out of Sasa's stomach, and during the time he had been in hiding, he had also done careful research. It can be said that this eyeball, when placed on other creatures, it will not have any effect at all. But he is different. He has the ability to mutate blood. He can integrate this eyeball into his own body. The ability to pique interest. Lin immediately extends his finger and forcefully inserts it into his right eye socket. Your life force is draining away. And then, a bloody eyeball was gouged out from his right socket. He took out a bottle, carefully put his eyeball in it, and picked up the monster eyeball. He presses it forcefully into his eye socket. He endures the pain, activates his catastrophic flesh mutation ability. A large number of neural tissues quickly envelop the focusing dendrite. New organ lead. Branch warning. Your Eye of Focus power level is too high. Control over your excess length is greatly reduced. He grimaces, covering his bloody right eye. The whole person became hunchbacked. Due to the burden on his right eye, he shouted to Sasa, "Get out of the way." When Lin heard the voice, Sasa suddenly retracted, as he saw the right eye of Lin. His expression turned into a great shock. He used that puppet's eye, and in the moment his words ended, Lin abruptly raised his head, eyes focus on the hunter. Stare activates a curse. The hunter, in an instant, feels a great sense of crisis swept over him. He instantly reacted with increasing speed, so fast that he even left after moving. But the curse had been casted. It was like a ghost burn. Piercing screeches issued forth wherever his gaze landed, whether it was the surrounding walls or the stone tiles on the floor, were instantly shattered at an unimaginable speed, dissolves quickly into a viscous liquid. And here it is open ground, with nowhere to hide, even if the hunter is fast. In this open space, his body was also affected. A lot of corrosion appeared on the surface with a clatter. The blood demon who was controlling the hunter's face changed dramatically. Look at the branches. How is this possible? And at this moment, he finally determined. His flesh and blood puppet, even if he wasn't killed by this young man, it's definitely related to him. Death must be cut. In an instant, he gritted his teeth, enduring the bone-piercing corrosion and melting, suddenly rushing towards the enemy. Then forcefully restrained the right wing. Let Sasa move faster. Sasa floated forward, revealing a bloodthirsty smile, saying, "Leave the rest to me." Life is like a raven's long cry. Sasa opened his gaping maw. In an instant, a horrifying turning force sweeps in the direction of the whole street. The flagstones on the ground are ripped up with a clatter. The surrounding buildings begin to crackle and split open. The inky mist spreading across the road turned into a tornado and was sucked into Duo's mouth. The dark dinosaur was like an abyss. That awful scene, the hunter's plot, instantly showed a huge bias. Shiemo's face changed instantly. At this moment even he had to stop and forcefully thrust the double blades into the ground. He has to avoid being dragged into the gravitational pull from the cavernous mouth. However, in that instant, he immediately had a bad feeling. He yelled out, "Not good." Lin's face twisted in a sinister grin. "I have a lock on you now." In that split second, Lin's right eye fixated on the hunter. Pang Yong's curses were the chains of a ghostly prison. The whirring sound spreads throughout the hunter's body. His frame rapidly shows large amounts of corrosion. On the large pig leg, there welled up countless blisters and cysts as if from being burned. His face is already awfully disfigured. The hunter let out a mechanical warning. The machine body is severely melted and damaged. Emergency activation of potent healing. Emergency activation of curse countermeasure. But then in that moment, he suddenly saw the human youth suddenly reach out his hand, and fetch from his bosom an arm wrapped in white cloth. Lin revealed a sickly smile. I'm thinking I want to heal. We are not finished yet. A moment of great unease swept through Xiaomo's heart. A giant dragon creep wall heavy armor unit. Aggregation ability can spit. Blaze Lizard is a battle blueprint of flesh puppet. Exterminator is a powerful exterminator weapon condensed from the head of the giant dragon. Blazing Dragon Rock has an extremely strong purification effect on dark creatures. A dragon full of resentment. The snake gave all its endless grudges to all in its presence. Lin tossed the dragon's breath on, and swiftly cast flesh and blood catastrophe. The two tentacles behind him quickly wrapped around the severed arm. Countless nerve tissues climbed at an unimaginable speed and spread to the broken arm. The organism is overloaded. At that moment, a thunderous dragon roar reverberated through the night sky. Lin held the dragon's arm, aiming at the hunter. A dragon lizard filled with burning anger, just like an overturned magma, sprayed towards the street in an instant. The scorching flames engulfed everything in sight. To investigate, number 3 predator screen cracks instantly. Alarms immediately blare throughout the hall. Subject 3 fusion process initiated. Neural link automatically disconnected. Acrid fumes of heat immediately follow. The jack that the demon slayer pulled from the back of his head immediately breaks. A severe backlash. It causes him to be disconnected from the neural optic nerve of the number 3 hunter. The surrounding servants immediately crowd around, asking Lord Xiaomo, "How are you?" Xiaomo gasped. His face is ferocious. That guy. He needs to killing weapons. I designed for my flesh puppets. How dare he? With one punch, he smashed the machine in front of him to pieces. But he couldn't help being angry, because in his eyes, that human was clearly a weakling in terms of combat power, except for his unusually strange left hand. It was capable of inflicting effective damage on him. Only the hunter in his hand. But he never expected that human could actually equip the flesh and blood puppet bioweapon onto his own body. That guy couldn't possibly be human. Because it's impossible for a human to be that terrifying. Could he be a bioweapon created by blood work? A biological weapon? He clenches his teeth. Only this is possible to explain. Because the blood flow before, they were veteran figures of the Demon Association. He also studied the Colossus. Only a few top-notch bio freaks. In these past 10 years, he's hiding in that remote place, researching new biochemical creations. Perhaps he clenches his fist tightly. The thought of the human youth's mocking smile made his whole body tremble in anger. If it were not for the functional limitations of remote control, if his physical body were there, even though he had focusing eye and dragon's breath arm as Bolton's. But on the other side, with 2 beeps indicating a signal cutoff, the other 2 screens go dark instantly. 2 servants walk over solemnly. Master Xiaomo, Hunters 1 and 2, have been destroyed by the bloody wraith. We've lost the signal link there, Xiaomo said with a grim smile. Never mind. Tomorrow I will personally take my flesh puppets to meet them. Have you found the blood drama? One of the minions told that the other hunters are tracking it. From the information we currently have, blood drama probably lost the dollhouse. He had a good rapport with the doll master there. Xiaomo narrowed his eyes. His fingers gripped tightly together. Doll's master. Now it's getting interesting. The blood-clothed lady who just finished walking the 2 hunters when she was still in a state of confusion. She turns her head to look at the other side of the street. The entire street had been completely burnt down by Lin's terrifying dragon act just now. And even though it's her, everyone felt a twinge of palpitations and shock. He flew quickly through the smoke, lifting up the weak Lin. Asked Lin, "How are you?" Lin coughs and says it's fine. Then pulls the eye of focus out of his left eye forcefully. Then pulls out his own eye from the bottle. Put it in. The blood-clothed woman felt her scalp tingle. Lin took out a bottle of recovery potion, poured some into her eyes, smiled and said it was all. "What about me? Are you hurt?" The bloody lady blushed. She nodded slightly. "I didn't expect Lin to care about me." She is getting more and more likable. The 2 share a warm gaze. Just then, Sasa appears, and gives a satisfied bird. He sees another 2, hunters killed by Lady in Red. Rule. Lin and Bloody Mary are disgusted. This guy is such a foodie. A system prompt came to Lin's mind. You have completed the quest Restless Night. You gained 1,000 bonus skull points, 1,000 base EXP. You completed an additional mission. Objective, kill 3 hunters. You obtained the legendary special item, Night. A first job change quest. Legendary skill chart obtained. Random diagnosis. You have completed the mission. Survive. 1,000 base EXP and 1,000 SC obtained. Special item, Night Demon Blade obtained. Lin's eyes lit up in that instant. This group can really be called a huge bandit group. He quickly opened the system reward he had just received. Night has changed its job mission map like mission items. They are doctors who walk in the dark. They, a group of very loving surgery experts. Their goal is to make every patient smile blissfully. They are committed to helping all beings. Get rid of the plague of disease, so you better be a little sick when you meet them. Otherwise they'll be unhappy. Random diagnosis and special attributes. Legendary skill. Can randomly diagnose or 20 diseases for the target. Diagnosis can be made even for the healthy. Night Demon Blade Functional Surgery Night. Quality legend level special set. Never done. It's one. But surgery night. Although he is only half a meter tall, which makes him more suitable for hacking people, he also has absolutely no problem helping people with surgery. This is because his superb swordsmanship is often reflected in his delicate surgery. 3. But legend has it that at night, it becomes even sharper. Lindgren's heart was full of joy. 3 high-quality special props, plus a large amount of skeleton coins and basic experience. I'd say that tonight's wave of tasks made up for yesterday's losses, and helped him recoup his losses, and now he has reached level 10. As long as he handles this incident, you can try to switch to a new career yourself. The Bloody Lady frowned at Ling Yun, asking how did you offend the Demon Association? Look at this situation. This time it's just a group responsible for the investigation. If I don't think of something else, I'm sure you will face an even greater disaster. I have seen that you rarely leave the Haunters Guild. How could you have offended such an organization? Could it be that when you were healing someone? Look at the person. That's why people hate it so much. Lin shook her head. Calm down. The specific situation should be related to my teacher's experience. But I can't contact my teacher right now. I'm not very clear about the specifics. Half an hour later, after confirming that there would be no more enemies tonight, Lin and his brother bid farewell. Meanwhile, a mysterious cloaked figure lurks in the distance, watching. After bidding farewell to the Lady in Red, Lin returns to his room in the inn's back courtyard. He lies down on the bed, thinking back to what happened today. It can be said that today's crisis was quite intense, although not as terrifying as yesterday's. But the hunter's transformation still caught his attention. He became determined that the person who controlled the hunter at the time must be a member of the Demon Association. And it is, like saying the calm before the storm. If he doesn't find a way to cope himself in the last few days, he'll surely be subject to a more horrific attack. He has to figure out a way to contact the teacher, or Xiao Xiao. Lin is determined. He can't fall asleep. He closed his eyes. Dao system enters the world, suddenly accompanied by that immense sense of kinetic detachment. Lin's consciousness suddenly separated from his body. The next moment he appeared in that familiar unreal square. Enormous people overhead, and they still shine everlastingly. As soon as he stepped into it, a huge amount of information bombardment appeared in his ear. Area information shared since yesterday. Ghost Valley. Another extremely powerful monster invasion occurs. The invaders are suspected to be the cutting-edge biological weapons of the Demon Association. Residents of Ghost Lane, please refrain from going outside to avoid any mishaps. Area information is being shared and the intelligence is being updated in real time. The Battle of Wraith Alley has drawn to a close. One participant is suspected to be the infamous Spectre Queen Bloody Lady. The other participant is suspected to be the recently notorious huge goblin in Wraith Alley. Sacrificial lineage of medicine. Tap to play 3 skulls point. Ling Ling. No way. Intelligence has leaked out to the world so soon. The fuck? There's even a video. Does that mean other people were on the street at the time? Lin quickly clicked on skull -30. Instantly, the scene of Lin killing the Slayer appeared in front of him. Currently, the number of people watching online has skyrocketed to 1,000, and below the screen, comments are flying up. "Oh, it's that doctor. I recognize him. That's so scary. That guy is so strong actually. He's so handsome. Wanna sleep with him. No wonder that I passed by the clothing shop today. The store is old and broken. I thought someone finally smashed it. But seeing this, it seemed like the battle yesterday had something to do with that doctor. Damn, he's just insane when he activates Gear Second. I always thought that he was just a harmless bloodline clone. Who would have thought that in our desolate ghost town, we'd be hiding such a person? That's why even before I thought that humanoids were mutated freaks because of their blood, in order to survive here. But now it seems that he has great power himself." Join the 3 room. Various comments appear on the screen. Some are comments from the locals. There are also voices from other parts of the region. Many people were curious and asked information regarding the people above on the screen. The number of viewers quickly climbed to 3,000, which means, just with this piece of information, the informant, at least 90,000 skeleton coins were harvested. This is simply a very profitable industry. But it also surprised Lin a lot, because when he was fighting, he didn't observe anything at all. There are other beings around, who he cannot see. Perhaps it's because he's weak, but neither Zero Zero nor Lady Bloodgown have noticed anything unusual. That proves it. Lin falls into thought. Before the 2 bald men were fighting, there were also videographers. Maybe it was the same person. Obviously, this informant should be rooted in the world, and is a very capable creature. Sharing information should be one of its main businesses. If so, he might be able to gain a lead from him. Seeking some quick way to contact the specified target, Ling Yun quickly pulls out the information he shared earlier. Find the creature who posted the information, a name that's famous in the world. Then click on the informer's identity. The intelligence dealer changes jobs, enjoying selling information from all major areas of the dark world. Intelligence can focus on teleporting to take a look. He's a businessman after all. His gaze quickly focused on his information interface. In an instant, his vision blurred. The scene before him quickly peeled and distorted. After a fierce battle last night, Lin Yun realized he was in great danger. Now, he had to contact his teacher, or the bounty hunter Little Abyss, to have a chance at survival. So he entered the world without stopping. Contact the intelligence dealer. Ask him for a way to contact the designated target. But the intelligence dealer said, "If you want information, you have to pay the price." Lin glanced at him. "But this place looks like a ghost town," the info broker said slowly. "This is the independent grid I applied for from the world. Every customer will enter my shop. It all teleports you to an independent grid space. I am currently also hosting 754 other guests in other grids. Impressive. To be able to serve so many guests simultaneously. This is definitely something not achieved by the normal system." He's not bullshitting. "I want to buy some information. It depends on whether you have the relevant intelligence sources." Asking Yushan Lin. Lin uttered the first question. "I wonder where exactly they are writing the script." The intelligence dealer's tone remained unchanged. He said calmly that he needed 50 black furnace coins. Lin's expression changed. "Damn, how evil. 50 black furnace coins. That's not equal to 500,000 skull coins. Even if he sells his store, he won't be able to pay it off." The intelligence dealer continued to say, "Because the target's information level was raised to level 1 a day ago, information retrieval real-time tracking price has increased by 50 times to over 100 million. There is more than one. Customers requesting the target stores one of my equipment. Sure enough, his teacher's current situation is not so good. Other than that, the Devil Association must also be searching for his teacher using various means." Lin calmed down. And then the second question is, how can we quickly, remotely contact a specific entity? The intelligence dealer still didn't pause. He said depending on the different methods, different pricing standards, minimum charge of 100 skull coins, maximum charge of 100,000 black furnace coins. You can choose the specific standard. Lin Yunxiang didn't think about. Choose the cheapest one immediately, and then make the transfer. 100 skull coins have been deducted. The intelligence dealer nods. The payment has been received. To answer you, the quickest way to remotely contact a living creature is through events. The world is a mirror world that overlaps with the dark world. With the ability to transmit, you can in this world, at will, with creatures that log into the world in any area, communicate. Lin falls silent. Then the spy Dan said, "Answer's over. Thanks for your patronage." Lin almost exploded on the spot. Is this really worth 100 bucks? If I could contact someone in the world, would I need to ask you? The intelligence dealer said flatly. This is the lowest level of intelligence. In other words, you get what you pay for. Lin tried to calm down. Said it was the same problem. This time, I need intelligence worth 1 Heisel coin. Then transfer to the intelligence merchant again. 1,000 treasure skull. The intelligence merchant paused, saying the currency has been received. Answering your questions, you can hire a contract courier to send mail a long distance for you. Depending on how much you pay a contract courier, the speed at which the letter will be sent is somewhat different. After finishing speaking, the information broker took out a roster from under his black robe, put on the counter. Here we also operate the hiring service of messengers. You can choose any messenger here. Lin glanced at him. This information seems to be worth the price. Lin's gaze then fell upon the register on the counter, and opened it to take a look. Unlucky bat, moves like a beast, passes through the target's body and meridian, able to transmit information quickly, while bringing misfortune to the target. Tamed hellhound, with a keen sense of smell and tracking ability, it can follow a scent from a long distance, but there's a high probability it won't come back. Void shiny beast, highly efficient surname, fastest speed in the shadow realm, delivers messages quickly, teleports quickly, dies quickly too. Everything's fast. Master Tortoise King, possessing the darkness realm, the defense and armor at the top of pyramid, can 100% guarantee the integrity of letters. Super stable, possessing industry benchmark rate of viewership, topping the information security rankings for years, unchallenged. Lin looked around, felt that the Turtle King was a good match. The Turtle King of the Woods used. The intelligence dealer paused, seemed to be consulting, and then slowly said, looking forward, there are 5 available champions at this moment. Accident rate is 1 kilometer per hour. Winning 170 interrupted his words. Wait, what's the small matter? The intelligence merchant nodded. Yes, that's because the species has been subject to special breeding. The speed has improved by more than 10 times in comparison to previous years. The Turtle King, as book, has always held the record. For the Turtle King race tournament of my store, no other turtle has broken the record so far. This needs to be done. I reckon grass is already growing on his grave. Looking at the roster of monsters and messengers, Lin felt very happy. Now the money's been paid. It's likely to be wasted. After a long while, he took a deep breath. Do you guys have any more reliable surnames? The intelligence dealer slowly said. There are only 4 surnames that are currently unused. However, we are speeding up taming more surnames. If you are not satisfied, you can come back to gather more. Lingren frowned. His brain quickly thinks, and immediately says, the Turtle King's safety is high, but its speed is slow, while the Void Beast's speed is high, but it dies quickly. The intelligence dealer nodded. Yes. Lin Yuan stretched out 2 fingers. Then arrange an appointment for these 2 messengers. I'm in a hurry. The intelligence dealer's eyes flickered with a strange light, paused for a moment, slowly said that the appointment has been made for you. You can fill in your address in the dark world. We will send the fire to you as soon as possible, because it belongs to a biological contract, so you can't make the trade in the world. Rest assured that we will not disclose your information. You can feel free to fill it in. He placed a form in front of Lin. Lin hesitated for a moment, filling in the address of the neighbor next door. The intelligence dealer takes back the form, slowly opens his mouth with 2 more pieces. 2-mansion Turtle King. Currently calculating your employment expenses. 2,000 skulls in total. After you have paid, we will ship it to you immediately. Lin is fuming. You're ripping me off, aren't you? Didn't I give you 1,000 just now? The intelligence dealer said just now was the consulting fee. Now it's the messenger fee. Need to be settled separately. After hearing this, Lin instantly lost his temper. Transfer fund immediately to intelligence merchant. 2,000 skull coin deducted. Intelligence merchant, currency received. Arranging delivery for you now. You may return and wait. Your biopack scroll is expected to be delivered to you within 2 hours. Instructions will be included, so you can use it properly by following the instructions. Thank you for your patronage. I am Keith. Pharmacy, Day. Lin opens his eyes slowly. Detached from the world, he sits up from the cot immediately. Glances over at left hand still snoring. He quickly changed and then escaped the drugstore, and cautiously snuck into the rooms next to the store. Found a concealed spot with a good view. Hid and waited, though I got tricked. But now, I must contact the teacher and Xiao immediately. Otherwise, once the Demon Association really dispatches regular troops, it will be too late to turn the situation around then. While there's still time, Lin quickly opens the system space to check the props the system obtained for her yesterday. A picture of a long, big chopper appears. Lin brings it out to nail. Legendary Night Demon Blade Scalpel. Lin covered with question marks. This thing is actually used for surgery. It can be used to fight. Be careful, or you might hit the guest. I think it's better to cut people. It's suitable for self-defense. He then switched jobs according to the occupation map. Random diagnosis came out. Lin carefully finished reading the introduction above. He learned the purpose of these 2 props. The job scroll will trigger a task after it is used. It will also teleport you to a specific location, as long as you complete the mission, then you can officially transfer to a night doctor, and the random diagnosis number seems a bit awesome. Lin contemplates. That is to say, as long as you have this skill, is it possible to quickly diagnose the target? He uses it immediately. Instantly, the scroll in his hand turned into a beam of light, and emerged directly into his body. You have learned a special skill, random diagnosis. Random diagnosis. There are 2 effects, active trigger and passive trigger. Passive trigger can quickly perform multiple random diagnoses on the target. You can quickly assess the target's illnesses. It can be triggered by any of the target's bodily tissues. Activate. Focus your gaze on the target. Randomly give the target at least 1. Curing serious diseases. Will deplete a lot of spirit power. Target's disease varies with the target's physique and host's spirit power. After the skill random diagnosis is learned, Lin gasped. It's worthy of being called a legendary special skill. It can actually give the target an ailment effect. In that instant, his mind envisioned a sinister industrial chain to fight diseases and cure diseases, equals an endless flow of money. Lin secretly cursed herself for being too wicked. After all, she's still a moral and conscientious upstanding young person. I can't do something that goes against my conscience. A person shouldn't even think about it. Lin glared at his left hand. Electrostatic diagnosis penalty. Target diagnosed with indigestion. Identifying target disease, narcolepsy. Identifying target disease, gene mutation, recessive. A series of system prompts rang in Lin's ear. Just a quick glance. Lin peered up and down her left arm, and saw its condition clearly. Lin was secretly shocked, because it was so powerful. For a doctor like him, this skill, it's like adding wings to a tiger. Then Lin's gaze hesitated. Should I try out the active skills? No, that's unethical, and I'd be using my left hand as a test subject. It would hurt my conscience. Lin pondered. Maybe it would be okay if I just gave it a shot. He quickly made up his mind. Stared. Focus on his left hand, which was sound asleep. Pupils contracted instantly. Randomly chose a target and activated drip. Diagnosed the illness as morning sickness. Morning sickness. These are symptoms that generally occur after pregnancy, but for some reason, my left hand is experiencing similar symptoms. I suddenly feel dizzy, nausea, and loss of appetite. My belly is so bloated. My soul is still throbbing. Why is it still moving? Am I pregnant? At that moment, Sasa, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly woke up. He suddenly felt like vomiting. What's wrong with this nausea? Is it because of the bad stomach, the chewy food, a strong sense of nausea inside his stomach? Sasa suddenly vomits a large number of broken limbs. Having quickly finished vomiting, Sasa goes limp. He hasn't figured out how he suddenly started vomiting. This is completely strange. I ate 3 chicken bloods today. No wonder I can't stop vomiting. Drink this potion. Get some rest. Sasa opened his mouth weakly, speechless. 1 gulp. Drink the recovery potion. Drip's affection for you is as good as it gets. Drip's attitude towards you. Wei has changed a little. I think you're hateful. But sometimes it seems not bad. Sasa yawned, and said arrogantly, don't think I'll say thank you. Don't think that just handing me some potion, handing me over. Give me the chance, I'll still beat you. Soon, the 2 hours were up. When during closing remarks, he suddenly felt movement outside. He quickly opened his eyes, hiding his vigilance. Waves of sinister wind rushed in from outside, blowing open the door. Creak, creak. It was under Lin's gaze. That 2-meter tall, slender ghost was stuck in the doorway. His hoarse voice came from outside the door. Your package has arrived. Lin's facial expression changed slightly. It seemed that it was really a courier for the informant. He immediately jumped from the building. He raised his head and looked at the tall and thin ghost. Mr. Shangya, is that you? Lin nodded and said it's me. The tall and thin ghost sniffed slightly. Identity confirmed. Then it rigidly stretched out a pale hand. Removed its own skullcap. He took out a beautifully wrapped wooden box from inside. Please accept this gift. Lin glanced at him, and took the wooden box. After opening it, upon inspection, 4 scrolls were found placed inside, meticulously aligned. Beside them, there was a card. On the card, were written lines of text in the universal language of the Dark World. Thank you for your patronage. Open scroll using the instruction manual. Drop your own blood into it. Sign your own name. A contract for your employment is set for you. After completing the steps, the messenger will respond to your summons. Then write your name on the back of the card, and give it to my messenger, to acknowledge that you have received the goods. The slender figure handed Lin a quill. Lin thought for a minute, then reached out to take the pen, her fingers brushing the figures. Lin felt an instant, unspeakable icy chill, which spread throughout his entire body, making him shiver uncontrollably. But at the same time, suddenly, he heard a series of alerts in his ear. Ding. Target disease detected, chronic rheumatism. Target disease detected, cadaveric cold toxin. Target disease detected, abdominal cyst. Lin En stared solemnly at the person's surname sheet in front of him. Slim eyes, the ghost was stunned. I don't understand why this human before me stares straight at him. Moreover, this look seems a bit creepy. It makes you feel a little flustered. His hoarse voice said, sign this. I have to return and report. Lin Lynchen reached out, solemnly said, wait a minute. Slender Man was somewhat confused. What happened? Lin Lynchen said solemnly, have you recently felt abdominal pain? Do you feel cold all over your body? Do your knees hurt and jerk when you walk? An urge to cry came over him as he looked in the mirror. The tall, thin figure instantly froze in its tracks. Lin was right. For the last few months, he had indeed felt very uncomfortable all over his body. A couple of months ago, after sending out a message to the Shinsaku Valley, he started to feel unwell all over, but he never said anything. How did the mortal know about it? Watching the shocked expression of the slender man, Ling In then spoke. My friend, your life will soon come to an end. The slender man's expression changed. Lin En's voice was as you can see. I am a professional doctor. Just now when I touched your fingertips, I discovered something wrong with your body. May I ask if you have experienced any of the symptoms I just mentioned? Slender Man was taken aback. That is slightly true. Lin nodded. Then it must be true. Did you go to the extreme frigid zone recently? Been beaten by a twisted creature? Does it happen that whenever it's a cloudy day, your knees start aching? Slender Man shocked. How did you know? Lin squinted. Never mind how I found out. You just need to know. Your problem is very serious. If you don't get treatment soon, paralyzed at best, dead at worst, or lose your job, a lonely cry. The tall, thin ghost is scared too. What should we do then? Lin, with a tall and thin ghost shadow, walked towards the next door outside with long strides. But it's okay, you never know. A professional doctor eyes and feels the window. If it weren't for the fact that you faded to me, I wouldn't be telling you all this. My shop is right next door. Come, let me take a good look at you. Don't worry about the expense. Lin had cajoled him into doing something. The slender man came to Lin's pharmacy. At this moment, his mind was still in a daze. He still didn't know why. I don't even know how I got in here. To be honest, shouldn't I hurry back to make my report? But what he just described has been bugging me for the past several months, and this doctor just touched him and told him all his symptoms. Does that mean that one who delivers letters has such good luck? Ling En gazed solemnly at the phantom in the beast cage. Your illness is a bit complicated, guest, and also a bit much. Let me examine them one by one. First, raise your leg for me. Slender subconsciously glanced at his own leg, once again looking at Lin En's trustworthy eyes. He still obediently put his leg on the counter. With a bang, Lin En took out a small hammer and hit his knee. The tall and thin ghost let out a scream. Lin said seriously, "Does it hurt?" The slender ghost opened his mouth trembling. "It hurts. It hurts dozens of times more than before." Lin nodded. "It's good if it hurts. The root cause lies in this. You can tell at a glance that this is rheumatism of the brain caused by cold toxin. If it goes on like this, sooner or later, your bone hyperplasia will put you to bed." Beast feel, ghost shadow, tremble. But it never hurt this much before. It only started hurting this much after you knocked on it a moment ago. Lin said deeply. "Did I knock too hard?" Slenderman answers dully. "Not heavy." Lin says seriously. "It doesn't weigh much and it hurts so much. This means that the disease is deep in the bone. Could you really want to get yourself bedridden?" Slenderman mumbles softly. "It's not that serious." Lin slaps the table. Slender Man's entire legacy of terror. Lin puts back. "That is absurd. Do you know how many of my patients are victims of this exact sort of magical thinking, and then forcefully put yourself to death? Do you know that once the illness has really invaded your entire body, what kind of torment it will do? It's the kind of pain that feels like your mother has died, especially when the weather is overcast. At first it is just like Link's crawl. Then it is like a hair of hell. In the final stage, it starts to feel like it's being cut with a knife. Each stroke makes it swell like a meatball. It's such a FG pain even if you just touch it." The thin ghost figure was increasingly scared as it listened. His body couldn't control its trembling. "I'll heal it right now. Doctor, please stop talking." A few minutes later, Lin shoves all sorts of medicine into the gaunt, ghostly figure's arms. "This is our store's specially made blood flow and bone strengthening patch. 3 times a day. 1 patch at a time. After sticking, it guaranteed to make you feel warm and fuzzy. The itchiness and pain and get lots of relief. This is an internal prescription for treating rheumatic pain. Take these 2 pennies of medicine home and boil it once a day for 7 consecutive days. If it doesn't work, you can come and find me again. Your body is so firm and warm. It's obvious that you are suffering from malnutrition. I'll prescribe you some tonic, and you'll be as healthy as a horse. Is it not good to use to reassure?" The skinny figure is dull, holding a large number of medicines that are gradually becoming ridiculous. Asked the doctor, "Are you taking too much medicine?" Lin exclaimed in shock. "These are just the ones for your arthritis. There are others I haven't told you about." The tall, thin ghost quivered. "What else?" Lin sat down, soberly looking at the slim ghost. "Do you feel cold all the time these few days? No matter how much you exercise, or how full you eat, nothing can contain the cold. Furthermore, do you always feel as though the cold is coming from within? A wave of cold rushes from your stomach to your whole body." The slender man widens his eyes. "That's right." Lin said, "According to my initial diagnosis of you, you should have contracted a cold poison. Moreover, it's a malignant cold poison. Even the lesion. You have developed a malignant cyst in your stomach." Slender Man is shocked. "That's impossible." Ling En pulls out his night demon blade. "Did you perform the operation or not? Look and you will know." At this moment, the tall and thin ghost shadow that was diagnosed with a malignant cyst by Lin was taken to the operating room. He lay trembling on the table. He looked at Lin, who kept honing the knife, and asked the doctor, "Isn't your scalpel a little big?" Lin nodded, glowing on the gleaming blade. "Are you sure?" I'm a professional. The bigger the scalpel, the better. After speaking, Lin raised the knife, ready to perform an autopsy on the Slender Man. Slender Man, tremblingly speaking. Wait, I don't need anesthesia? Lin was stunned. Then he sheepishly touched the back of his head. Almost forgot again. Look at my memory. Rest assured, I'll call you right now. Haha. After saying, Lin Wen dropped the knife in the cabinet behind you, fumbling around with the bottles and jars inside. The slender specter could already sense by now that this doctor was unreliable. Why did you say right? Talking about, isn't it the normal procedure to give anesthesia before performing surgery on a patient? Why? You seem like you don't even know where you placed the anesthesia. And then, he heard the joyous voice of Ling. Found the Slender Man. Breathed a sigh of relief. Ling's spell is not forgotten. The bottle in his hand is expired. Slender Man stops moving. Ling turns to look at Slender Man. Why don't you bear with it for a while? Slender Man quickly declined. He definitely doesn't want to endure it. Just now when I knocked his leg it hurt so much. If I conduct a surgery without anesthesia, I can't imagine the level of pain. If I accidentally remove your kidneys too, it would be so horrifying. Seeing the patient resisting so much, Ling thought for a while, and said, but there is another way for Mesopad. I don't know if you're willing to try it. What method? Slender Man looked as if he'd seen hope. Lin solemnly said, freeze him. Slender Man looked confused, and was about to ask what freeze him meant. Lin grabs a stool, and bashes the back of the Slender Man's head, knocking the Slender Man out instantly. Ding! You knocked out the Slender Man. You gained 10 base experience points. Lin with an evil grin. This anesthetic is really good. You successfully removed the Slender Man's cyst. Your surgical proficiency has increased. You put the Slender Man's dislocated kidney back into place. Your internal medicine skill is increased by 1. You successfully performed an excellent suture. Your suturing skill is increased by 1. Time flies. Half an hour passed quickly. Slender Man's face was hollow. Walking out of the operating room with a golden grip, Ling takes out a new bag of medicine, hands it to the dog ghost, says, yes, everything's going very smoothly. The cyst has been removed. The remaining coldness and toxicity of your body still need further conditioning. This is the new medicine. Carefully. You must take it on time. Keep taking it again. Don't stop. I guarantee you'll be cured within a week. The result of the Slender Man report was a piercing pain in the back of my head. He said to the fiercely, thank you very much. I wish your family happiness and joy. Lin's kind filial piety. You're welcome. It's the least I could do. Your bill is ready now. The operation plus the potions will come to a total of 3,000 doubloons. Will you be paying with cash, or shall we take a limb? Slender Man looks at him incredulously. How much? Lin one-way laughed and said, 3,000 customers. The slender ghost felt like crying but had no tears, and took out 3 black furnace coins from its pocket, and placed them on the counter. It's f-king expensive. Just one visit, and half a year's savings are gone. No wonder people say hospitals are scary. You and your wallet will go broke. Slender Man endures with a heartache. Can I leave now? He doesn't want to stay here to grieve at all. Stop it. Deliver the package. Send a whole body of illness. Lin Yun smiled and nodded. Sure. The gaunt figure took out a receipt. And you still haven't signed for this delivery. Please confirm once again. Lin Yun, with a smile on his face, immediately took those 4 scrolls out of the box, examined them carefully, then closed his eyes. He placed the box back satisfied. But what he didn't notice is that a hair had just brushed carelessly against his fingertip from the edge of the scroll. No problem, I'll go right. But his words were not finished speaking. His ears immediately heard the system sweep. Ning. You discovered the target disease congenital hyperiplegia. You discovered the target disease permanent skin suppuration. You have detected the target disease parasitic moth. Leftover malignant toxins remain. You have detected the target disease intermittent limb dissolution. Just after Lin came into contact with the box, the system issued a prompt. Lin was immediately stunned on the spot. His eyes immediately focused on the box. He was sure he hadn't touched any creature just now. But where did this prompt come from? The next moment, Lin's eyes caught the long hair on the scroll. Lin squints. Could this hair belong to that informant? He glances at the tall, lanky figure. He asks, "Excuse me, sir, but what about my delivery? Have others touched it?" When it came to his own work, Slender Man immediately became serious and said, "No, my master ships one on me. This is personally packed by the master. No other creature would ever have been exposed to this." On hearing this, Lin understood in her heart that it must be that intelligence deal. Moreover, it seems as though he had contracted all sorts of strange diseases. No wonder they've always dominated the world's intelligence work. Lin suddenly remembered those thousands of skeleton soldiers he had killed in the world before. Lin smiled slightly. "Take pens quickly. Write on the scroll some illnesses you know. Dear informer, hello. Your mail I have successfully received. Thank you very much. But it seems that you accidentally lost one of your hairs in the mail, and I am a professional doctor. From examining your hair, I accidentally discovered some diseases that are not good. I am truly deeply sorrowful for your pain. If you saw my notice, please remember to come to the World Script Medicine Sacrifice, and look for Mr. Shiny. Remember to make an appointment. Remember to bring money. I can give you further diagnosis and treatment. Wish you well. Royal Dr. Newman, Mr. Shiny." After Lin has finished writing, he hands over the scroll smiling at the longevity ghost. "The receipt has been written. Please be sure to pass it on to the master. I am very satisfied. Dispatch of goods." Slender Man glanced at the contents of the scroll. His whole face instantly turned green. "This is fucking outrageous. Outrageous to the max. One piece of your hair, and my master diagnosed you with a lot of lice. A life-threatening illness. This rocket ascend. But it's none of his business." Without a word, the slender shadow immediately turned around, with an IV drip, quickly rushed out the door. Just as it reached the door, he heard the sound of jingling bells from behind. "Welcome back next time, customer. Thank you for your patronage." The slender ghost trembled, and his steps quickened slightly. He rushed into the black fog almost like he was fleeing. He watched as the beast and ghost shadow went farther and farther away. Ling Yun didn't delay any longer. He quickly took the 4 scrolls out of the box. He slowly opened them. Scrolls, the tiny hexagram rune magic circle engraved on it, immediately attracted Ling Yun's master. Incantation, or rather, a summoning contract magic circle commonly used in the dark world. Through a similar array, one can sign a short contract with a creature from the dark world or other worlds. And the 4 scrolls in his hand, Lin had no time to waste. She quickly took out a quill and ink, and sat down at the desk in a quick scribble, writing the first letter. "Dearest Tiny, this is your dentist, Lin. Do you remember me? Not long ago, you became the first lifetime member of our shop. It's a great honor and joy for me. You are a very kind and adorable girl. Since you left, I've been thinking about you day and night, longing for you so much that I've been tossing and turning all night, and I've lost a lot of weight. It made me think of that wonderful night again, because it's really hard to keep the thoughts of you down. After much deliberation, today, I have made the decision to write you a letter, because I think that if I don't write to you soon, I'll live on. You are like the light of the moon in my heart. I really cannot get rid of you, so can you accept my invitation? I specially invite you to visit the Wandering Soul tomorrow. Like a sentence, and he has cooked up a feast and prepared you a gourmet meal. Please do not be shy. Mr. Lin is missing you. Lin immediately uses wax to seal the lacquer, then bites his finger forcefully, dripping blood onto the magic circle on the scroll, right under Lin's gaze. His blood immediately follows the magic circle, flowed slowly, and at the very next moment, the magic circle slowly lit up with a blood-covered light. The air suddenly fluctuated again and again. In the light, 2 enormous figures began to emerge. One of them had a sleek body like a hound's, yet it flowed with delicate red runes. And the body keeps twinkling, like the void gapper will vanish at any moment. Camp, neutral, fighting ability, fast runner, a strange creature wandering between the void and the abyss, in an open area. When you look up at the void, should you perceive a large group of meteors, rapidly flying through the sky, harbor no doubts. They may not be meteors, but rather superior beasts that shuttle through the void in droves. while another one was a giant tortoise, brown moss growing all over its shell. Its head is savage beyond imagination, ugly and hard-axe Turtle King battle. Hard enough. The Turtle King Gorman and the Great Axe March. They are gentle and slow. For most of their lives, they spend the time while sleeping. Thousands and 10,000s of years have almost no significance for them, although most of the snapping turtles don't want to leave the Great Buddha temple. But there are always some that think outside the box, who want to seek Buddhism influence outside. For example, the delivery man, in order to send a love letter to Xiao Xiao, and then summon the two unreliable deliverers. Seeing the appearance of these two sleeping dragons and phoenixes, Lin En's eyes lit up. Are you my messengers? Shukong Juab let out a roar, and replied. Fu Manchun's Turtle King opened his mouth slowly, took a whole minute, before he said I am your surname Shi. Lin En immediately felt uneasy, wiping the cold sweat off his forehead. He solemnly passed the letter in his hand to the Turtle King. Then I'll trouble you. I heard from your master. You only need a bit of the target's body tissue to deliver the letter, or their aura can quickly locate the target, and postal service letter to the other party. Lin touched out a little. He scraped off the Holy Lance not long ago. A little bit of tooth debris. His name is Xiao Xiao. Remember this scent. Remember to quickly deliver this letter for me. The Turtle King sniffed at it, and slowly, unbelievable speed with which he grabbed the letter. It took 10 minutes, before he slowly turned his head, and opened a small door on his back, made Lin's eyes pop out, snatched the letter, quickly stuffed it into the secret compartment of his turtle shell, slapped it shut for him. The Turtle King said in a silly voice, I'm going. Then at a speed visible to the naked eye, began to advance towards the gate. Lin Yun's temples were twitching madly. He paid no attention. He let him run first, and then his sight fell upon the eager Void Zaratan. Your mission too. I know. Your speed is the fastest in your new world. But before Lin could finish speaking, the void ethereal in front of him disappeared in an instant. Then it instantly reappeared in front of Lin, with a small flashing stone still in his mouth. Lin was surprised. This is a meteorite fragment. Are you trying to tell me that in the blink of an eye just now, you only went to the outside void once? In the void, the extraordinary beast proudly stuck out its tongue. Lin took a deep breath. He cheerfully patted the extraordinary beast's head. It's pretty fast, but you fucking split his skull, man. When you pick it up, watch where you're going, man.